It's the ghosts have a party and they start singing this chanty song. And
yes, they start chanting in the dark. Thank you, everybody.
They're not in the dark.
Grim ghosts come out to socialize.
And now,
I'm the captain now.
coming to you from the K2 Studios in San Diego, California.
This sounds great. You sound amazing.
I always sound amazing.
It's the world famous
Everybody's sitting off like BFFs.
Kris and Kristine Show.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? How are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for listening, and I am Kris.
And I'm Kristine, and welcome to the 101st episode of the Kris and Kristine Show.
This is awesome. We are actually on the 101st episode, and to be a little funsy game today, we actually switch positions. I am sitting in this side of the room, and Kristine is sitting on that side of the room by the computer.
Okay, and they don't understand what this and that means. What that means is I did not give Kris a choice. I took control of the control panels.
What?
But now all he's doing is staring over my shoulder at the screen behind me. Ladies and gentlemen, never put an individual that has ADHD with like visual stimulus when you're trying to get them focused on auditory.
Yeah. Well, that's why I do it so well, baby. Because I'm professional like that.
But would you like to tell everybody why we switched roles today and why I get to be the producer?
Because Kristine wants to do it. Because we had a little bit of a discussion of whether or not we should even do the podcast today.
Yes, we had a little bit of a heated discussion because we started podcasting in pajamas this morning, and maybe
Wait, you started this morning.
We started this morning.
And it's happening. What time right now is it? Like 9, 10 o'clock at night?
I don't know. It's late. The sun is down. We're definitely not. We're about to get back into pajamas, but
it's a 24-hour podcast.
We decided to take a step away from podcasting because sometimes when you find that thing that's like the trigger of the tension in the relationship, you just got to like step away and give it a break and let it breathe and come back to it when you're ready to engage with it again, right?
Amen, sister. I love it so much. And this feels weird sitting over here and looking at you down there, and like it's weird role reversal here.
I know. And
how's it feel being the captain's chair, by the way?
Well, it's not the captain's chair. It's the queen's chair today. It's my throne.
Okay.
But it feels good, and I kind of like the setup over here, although I don't like the fact that you're like staring over my shoulder at the monitor the entire time. It's kind of annoying. I'm like,
well, that's what you do.
It's like when you go out in public and you're a lady and a gentleman is like not looking at your face but looking at your other body parts, and you're like,
who would do that?
And you're like, look up here. My eyes are up here, not down there.
It reminds me, I saw a meme of this t-shirt. It was so funny. It was like a woman with bigger breasts, and it said, well, don't look at my eyes. And the picture had like pictures of someone's eyes over her breasts. I thought I was looking at your eyes.
Oh my gosh, Kris, this is a PG. You can't be saying that kind of stuff.
Oh, well, keep the PG.
No, that is not PG.
I'm sorry. I take that one back.
Yes, you need to take
But hey, how has your week been, baby? This last week?
Well, thanks for cutting me off. My week, actually, tonight was fantastic. So first of all, I had a big wedding last weekend, and it was amazing, and it went so well. And the wedding biz it's popping. Like I'm going to have to not shut down the business, but like take a pause on any new clients soon, because it's just like a deluge of new clients, because everybody's like, we got to get married before, Delta variant comes and shuts everything down again.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And so there's all of these people that are booking, but then it's like, there's the brides that had to delay their wedding for a year and a half, and then the brides that were planning to get married, and then the couples that fell in love during COVID. And it's like 4 groups of individuals, and it's just so much right now. But I am so grateful and having so much fun with it. And started mentoring a new up-and-coming wedding coordinator this week who's going to be freelancing with my team. And so shout out to Adriana.
Adriana, what's happening?
I
How you
actually
doing?
Played the podcast for her a little bit when we were on our way home.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, when we were coming back from the Garment District yesterday in LA. And she was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so funny.
Which episode did you play for?
I think it was 93. It was the Mexico trip.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at the beginning, which is interesting because at the beginning of that episode, we'd had a little bit of friction before that. And you could tell because I'm very snarky.
Yeah.
And you're like, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, not having it. Yeah.
Well, that's how I roll, baby.
Yeah, so this week has been great. And then I had this really great find today. In the wedding industry, there's this, I don't know, there's different themes for weddings, like different, I call them vibes and approaches that brides take. So there's like the classic, elegant, like white flowers, very clean, very like classy, upscale looking. And there's some that is a little bit more like gardeny and natural. And there's this really big vibe in the wedding industry, and especially here in San Diego, and it's called boho.
Boho. Interesting. Now you got to tell me, what is a boho? Now, is there bows?
I think you need to stop right there because I can tell where this is going.
Oh,
no, there are no bows. So boho stands for bohemian.
Of course it does.
Yes. And so
I knew that. Oh, yeah.
It's
totally.
this whole vibe in weddings where it's like flowy dresses and like fall kinds of colors, like oranges and browns and very like earth tones.
Orange wedding dress?
Not orange wedding dress.
Wow, where'd you find that at?
Orange, you glad I love you.
That's what it's called.
No, but okay. So my big find, as we're going back to this, is in the boho vibe. There's stuff that's really a big part of the decor, and it's called pampas grass, Pampas. And in San Diego, it just so happens to grow in the wild.
Oh, wow.
Pampas grass in the wild. And so what ends up happening is you have these brides that want pampas grass in all of their arch installations, in their bouquets and everything. But, you know, if you live in any other area of the country where it doesn't occur naturally, then you're paying like, you can pay anywhere from when it's off season, like on the small end, the low end, like $5 a stem, all the way up to like $15 per stem.
I thought it was like $25 a stem.
No, it's like $25 for a bundle right now, wholesale, but I got the hookup. So there's one of my buyers at a wholesale company that I work with out of Carlsbad, where I get some of my florals. He has all of this pampas in his backyard because what happens is it's considered an invasive grass. And
Ooh, it doesn't sound good.
No, it's not. So it's actually outlawed in Hawaii and one or two other states where you can't, like, if you're going to have any type of floral decor, you cannot ship pampas grass in there because it spreads so quickly. The little seeds, it kind of looks like a dusting wand that you would use to like dust the
chandeliers or whatever.
Yeah, the chandeliers or whatever, but it's a grass, and the little pieces of the little dusty part, the little fluffy head of it, they come off in their seeds, and then they transplant, but it has such a hardy root system to it that once it roots, you can't get rid of it unless you like burn it and dig it up. And so it has these really hardy stalks on it.
So why do people want this then? It sounds like a demon of a grass.
Well, it might be a demon of a grass, but it adds this bohemian, whimsical look to a wedding. And so in San Diego, what ends up happening is right around mid-September or beginning of September, pampas grass will start to pop up all around. Like you'll see people stopped off the side of the road and like cutting down pampas grass, especially brides, because it's a really popular wedding decoration. But from my wholesale company that I work with, the account manager that I work with, we're Instagram friends or whatever you call it, followers of each other. And he was advertising that his pampas grass had just bloomed in his backyard, and he has a huge property, and he was selling them. And get how much he was selling them for.
Well, first off, he said they're $5 a stem normally.
Yeah.
So that's off season or on season or
that's off season. That's right now. So it's like $24.50 for 5 stems right now.
Okay, and you got them for?
Well, he was telling me they were $1.70 a stem. For a bundle of 5, it was like $15. But he had 15 bundles and nobody else had reached out to him. So he sold me all 15 bundles for only $100, which gave me 75 stems. And they're 5 feet tall. They're glorious.
And they're big too, like the big massive ones too.
Yeah, they're so fluffy. And it's like, I felt like from Despicable Me, it's so fluffy.
Oh, what? Okay.
The little girl when she's at the little fair and she has her little unicorn that he wins for her, and she goes, "It's so fluffy."
Oh, I've never seen that. I didn't.
What?
I missed that one. I'm sorry.
You've never seen Despicable Me?
No.
How are we married?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
But she's so fluffy.
It's so fluffy. But it reminds me of that. And so I was very, very excited because I have like 5 brides that need the pampas grass. And I was really nervous of if I was going to be able to get it within their budget for them. And I was just like ready to go source it out in the wild. And it's like florists in the wild, like hiking through the hills on like public land and like cutting down the invasive grass. But now I have 75 stems of pampas, and it's all drying in the buckets on the back porch.
Nice.
Yeah, but that was my week. I mean, work's been pretty good. Kind of like
Kristine is really killing it when it comes to her wedding stuff. She is doing amazing work. She had her first big wedding last weekend on Saturday.
Right.
That's why we podcast on Sunday. Today's Sunday also, speaking of which.
Yeah, but I had a couple of really big contracts come in this week for full service wedding planning and for floral. And so, yeah, it's just, I'm very grateful for it, but I'm also very grateful for my regular job too.
Well, of course, without that job, this job wouldn't happen. And without that job, the podcast wouldn't happen. So really, we all be thankful for our regular day jobs after all.
Exactly.
Until the day does come when these fun jobs like our YouTube and say, podcasting, empire grows and we actually make more money than working, then it comes the other way around.
Well, you already do earn some income off of the podcast, right?
Shh, quiet now.
But anyways, enough about my week. How was your week going?
Oh, it was great. It wasn't too bad. I actually had a few big things happen this week. Over the last
really?
week. Well, one thing was I bought my 370Z about 3 years ago from a dealer that did a full check.
What kind of a dealer? Is it like a, hey, come into my garage and I'll like sell you something?
And some watches too under a jacket. I think he had those
Let
too.
me sell you something.
Yeah, actually, no. So I bought them from a dealership that actually did a full inspection on the vehicle before they sold it to me. It was actual like a used lot kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
And so they said the brakes were changed out before I bought the car. So I was like, okay, the brakes are fine. And ever since I had the car has always had like kind of squeaky brakes. And
But you still bought it.
I know.
Why?
Because I'm a sucker, right? I wanted
because you wanted it so bad that you were willing to let go of the red flags. That is a life lesson right there, Kris.
Thank you. And there wasn't a lot of them available for sale in the city. Let's be clear on that. Anyway,
oh, gosh, that is totally like a parallel to the dating life. It was kind of squeaky and there was red flags and there weren't a whole lot when that, field that I was
Well, it's like
looking
if you're on a
at.
deserted island and you're like you and like 2 guys and the only choices you have are like Bob and they both have
Kris,
problems.
Be appropriate, please.
I am being very appropriate.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyways, the car has always had brake issues and I take it in. They say the pads were at the appropriate level. They look great. They were fine, but they make noise. Like, why would the brakes make noise if they're fine? It doesn't sound right. So after a couple of years,
Did they tell you it was just like the Tin Man where they just needed to get like a little oil can? And
I
make
don't
it,
know. Well, actually, you shouldn't put any oil in your brakes, really, or W40.
But
It actually catches on fire. But anyways,
Really?
Yes. Well, W40 is flammable, right?
Oh, and because of the heat. You see, you learned something new. Okay, so
Yes.
you got your car 3 years ago.
Yeah, so I got the car, and it's always had problems with the brakes where they make noise. So I decided last week to take it into another auto shop that's a pretty reputable auto shop in the city of San Diego.
Okay.
So I took it over there, dropped it off. I said, hey guys, this car makes a lot of noise with the brakes. I don't know what's wrong with it. Can you guys just take the brakes apart and just take a look and see what the problem is? If I need pads or whatever, if I need rotors, whatever you guys can do, just check it out. Let me know what you think.
Okay, wait. You seriously went in there and said, take it apart and tell me what I need? You didn't tell them, I think it needs this, this, and this? Of course, they're going to sell you like a new Mercedes.
Well, they did not. But what they did do was they said, well, we quoted me a few different prices, really. Because the first price, if you do the pads, it's this price. If you do the rotors and the pads, it's this price. And if it's the higher end version of the brakes, which I don't think it is, but it could be, it could be this price.
Oh, so they told you you were going to need to do here's the basic and here's a step up. And you could have to go really high level. We're just preparing you for it, but it probably doesn't have those upper high quality brakes on it. But then what happened?
Well, it turns out I took it in there, and they obviously did hear the sound because the guy told me when he was backing the car out of the little parking space over there, the entire auto shop heard the noise of the brakes. They're that loud. When you are just cruising along. They are super, super noisy, really squeaky. And I said, that can't be normal. So anyways.
Yeah, every time you back out of the driveway, it's just like so loud. I'm like, it's so irritating. It's like, like that.
It's so loud. But the brakes work. They're not like when you step on them, they don't have any braking. They do physically do work.
They just are noisy.
Right. And that's the thing. So anyways.
So how much did it cost you to get rid of noisiness?
A lot of money, actually. A lot of money.
So you were just irritated with the sound, even though the brakes worked. And how much did you end up shelling out?
Well, okay, here's what happened was.
No. I want bottom line.
Out the door, $1,425.
What? Just
change.
to make a little noise go away?
So $1,400.
I'm going to start squeaking. Can you throw $1,400 my way?
Well, it turns out it needed new brakes, new pads, and new rotors, new parts. And these are not normal brakes.
But wait, there's more. So when they quoted you out, could they say, okay, well, we can replace it with like the basic level brakes, or did they upsell you? Because, you know, everybody talks about women going to the auto shop and like getting the wool pulled over their eyes. But I'm wondering about this, Kris. Did they upsell you?
No, they didn't upsell me. They just
getting uncomfortable.
What they did do is they replaced all the parts with original OEM manufacturer parts for that vehicle.
Oh, wow, that sounds fancy.
It does sound fancy.
So they didn't just like order a replacement part from Amazon?
They might have. I think about it. That's why it took so long. But no, what they did get was all new rotors, and the rotors on that vehicle are special material. I think they're like unobtainium or something.
Unobtainium. What is that one? Vibranium.
They're made. Yes, they are. They're made of vibranium.
They're made of vibranium.
But if they were made of vibranium, they wouldn't have broken. They've been like, perfect or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyways, these vibranium knockoffs of brakes I have, I had to get replaced, and they are a Brembo braking system.
A what? That
Brembo.
sounded like the boho weddings. A boho braking system?
They're Brembo brakes.
Okay, can you break that down for me?
I think I can. Brembo brakes.
No. I mean, like, what is it? I didn't mean you're such a dork. I meant, like, could you tell me what it means?
Well, the Brembo braking system, pneumatic brakes, are like the
That's a tongue twister. Brembo.
I know. They are the high premium brakes you'd find on sports cars and fancy high-end luxury cars and things of that sort.
Oh. So
like,
this is...
like Porsches have them.
Okay,
and
this is...
Ferraris have them.
This is hilarious. Now, I have a very important question for you. Did they show you that your car actually had Brembo brakes before they upsold you to it? Or did they just tell you it has these brakes and you have to do it?
I think a little bit on the latter half.
Oh, the truth comes out.
But
so they could have actually had...
I did ask that question. I did say, why? Because a normal Brembo braking system will be a red caliper with the word Brembo right in front of it.
And yours didn't have that.
Mine did not. Mine had Nissan and they were gray, but they look like Brembo, like the same Brembo size and everything, right? So I said...
So wait, if it looks like a duck and it smells like a duck, it's probably a duck. So if it looks like it's not Brembo, I'm just gonna call it bro brakes or bow brakes. If it didn't look like it, and yet they're telling you that it has them, and you just went along with it. I'm not understanding here. You just went along with it because you wanted the Ferrari brakes?
Yeah, something like that. So I know that the Z had a few models of the Z. There's a Nismo version, there's a touring model, there's a sport package, there's like the basic package. I do believe mine is either touring or the sport. Now, if it's a sport one, which I think it is, the sport package came with the upgraded braking system. You can look that up.
Okay.
And
so do you have the red fancy thing on it now?
No, it just has they use the regular Nissan ones.
Oh.
But it does have the Brembo braking system. They are Brembo brakes.
But you don't get the red flashy thing.
I know. I want the red flashy
thing. I know, because if you're going to pay for all of that money, it's like getting Guess jeans and like having the no label on the back pocket.
It's true. It is very true. Or Levi's or whatever.
No,
for us
not
poor
Levi.
People, for us poor people understand.
But I'm telling you, it's like Guess jeans, or it's like getting a Coach purse but having no Coach emblem on it, or getting like the Louis Vuitton purse that has no Louis Vuitton.
It's exactly right.
It's exactly that. So you just paid all this money to have these super fancy brakes, but you don't even have the red little what is it called? A caliber?
Yes, caliper. Anyways, it's like
is
the
it caliber like it's a higher caliber, or is it caliper?
Caliper. It's the part that goes over the brake pad. You can see it from look through the rim. You can see it.
So it's like a case for it?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh,
Like the outside part. Usually the fancy, like Ferrari ones are really fancy, like yellow looking. Oh, they're really cool looking.
Yeah.
And the some of the Porsche ones look like that too. Oh, I did not get slotted rotors, by the way.
I don't know what that means, but okay, people, make a big deal out of it. Comment on that because Kris really wants you to know you heard that part. Say it again. You didn't get the
slotted rotors.
Wow. You're getting very nerd level for us. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, those rotors have holes in them. They look like the rotor is basically a disc. And the brakes grab that disc and slow you down.
Oh, okay.
The slotted rotors are the high money ones. Usually, they have holes in them to disperse the heat.
So wait, the more expensive things have holes in them?
Isn't that weird?
Okay, so basically, what you ended up doing, if I can sum this up for everybody out there that's listening in podcast land, is you took your car in and you didn't really know what kind of brakes you had, but you relied on them to tell you that you had the fanciest brake system, and then they put the fancy brake system on, but it doesn't have the flashy case on it.
I know.
So basically, they sold you a Mustang in a Pinto shell.
Something like that. Something like that. Yes.
Thank you. So, do you think you got taken?
No, but actually, the good news is the brakes work great and there's no noise at all, which is kind of weird driving it now. When I back it up the driveway, like I backed it up today to wash it, I was like, something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't sound right with this car. Oh, I know. It's not making any noise. It's so weird.
But wait, did they show you the old brakes to prove that they actually
no, they didn't. What happened was, I guess the brake pads were okay, but the actual rotors, those carbonite fancy vibranium rotors, were overheated. And because they're overheated, the metal's like some chemical process. Anyways, they got messed up. I don't know.
So they I really hope that these guys didn't pull a number on you and actually just put like some type of lubricant on the rotors to make it like spin. I really do hope that you can like get under there and see that they actually did something.
I did look at the rotors and you can tell they're brand new. They look brand new. I know what the olds look like.
And that's not them just putting like jewelry polish on it.
Yes. They jewelry polish my rims or my wheel. You never rotors.
Know. You know, people can be shady. That's why as a woman, I always have to be super careful when I go into like shops and I'll ask them to keep all of the parts because I'm always concerned that they're not going to fully replace things. Not that I'm saying that people are like dishonest, but as a woman, I've had to learn about when they talk to me about things like that and try to upsell me on products that I make them physically show me what those other things were that they're taking out instead of just relying on other people to like randomly tell me and then have me shell out $1,400 for vibranium brakes.
Well, the parts alone were $900.
For the hobo brakes?
Yes. They're called Brembo, not hobo. Hey, so speaking of that, because I had to shell out $1,400.
That's a lot of money.
For brakes for a car I barely drive.
Well, so wait, $1,400 that you were shelling
But
out.
I needed the brakes anyways. You think about this. The car needs brakes.
The car needed brakes, even though the brakes were working fine. It was just noisy, but okay. It's a convenience. So they didn't actually need them because you got them checked out not that long ago and they said the thickness of them was okay, but the rotors had to be replaced, right?
Right.
Okay. So you paid $1,400, but recently, didn't you just like buy us tickets for some big event? Like, big question for you. I know you're making some money on this podcast. You never really let me see how much, but did we get like a big sponsor or something?
Oh, well, I'm working.
Like, where's the money coming from?
Well, the money happens to be coming. iHeart. God bless these iHeart people at iHeart. No, we're not on the payroll. In fact, we actually are not going to be able to make it to the big iHeart Radio Festival this year.
What happened?
I bought tickets for the festival, and because of this massive brake job, I'm going to have to get that money back from the tickets.
So are you like, what? Okay, so are you going to like exchange them or does somebody have to buy them from you?
Well, at first thought, I was thinking like, I got to sell these tickets and sell them because of the whole Delta variant with the whole coronavirus going on right now.
Coronavirus? You just said that. Coronavirus?
No, corona going on. That I don't know how many people are actually going to festivals. I just heard a major band the other night canceled all their shows just because of Delta.
Wow.
So I don't know how
I don't
many.
like flying Delta either.
Yes, that's what it was. So I'm thinking that maybe because that big band is pulling out, that a lot of other big bands might start folding. If those start folding, those tickets are pretty much worthless. I mean, they may say that only, we got one band still playing. Yeah, but like, who cares that band? I came to see these other bands. And the reason why I go to iHeart is to see all the big acts.
Right.
And there was some big acts for this year lined up. I mean, they're not like massive acts.
Right.
There were some good acts that were lined up. But I just got worried about that and dropped money on the car. And then Kristine says she can't make it this year because she's got a wedding she's doing on the same exact weekend.
Yeah, on the same weekend. But I told you, and I was like, well, it's okay. You could take your sister or whatever. But I think you were looking at hotels. And
yeah.
When we'd gone to Vegas like a summer or so ago, they were like giving away hotel rooms. But what you were looking in the area, like on the Strip, but not like, it wasn't like the Bellagio and the Venetian, but you were looking at like Excalibur and some of the, I don't want to call them B-rated, but they're
New York, and like
Right.
the MGM Grand and
what were they going for?
$400 to $500 for the one night.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for one night.
We've never paid that much.
I know, and then
That's crazy.
and that was-
Vegas. We're already losing our money on your slot machines.
and I know people.
I
I know people say. They'll say, yeah, you can get rooms for $20 a night. Yeah, on a Wednesday, some random week.
Right.
But iHeartRadio Festival night, that was the night we're looking at. I was trying to find something that was close by to the venue at the T-Mobile Arena, which happens to be sitting right next to New York. So New York was like, I was like, if we can stay there, it would be perfect. And that was going for
But of course, it's going to be super expensive.
Yeah, it was like $400 or $500 a night.
Yeah.
And that's not including air travel, which I didn't even look at airlines yet.
And then food.
Oh, then food, and then Uber rides.
Vegas is so expensive for food.
Oh, yeah. So
And
I was
gambling.
like, well, that was if we even did gamble, but I was thinking like I would need a dish at least another $1,000 just to get there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? With Delta and all these little variables, and now the car needed brakes and all that stuff too.
And then I couldn't go with you.
And my love could not go with me because it would be disastrous. She could not go with me. So because Kristine couldn't come with me, I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can get rid of these tickets. And I tried selling them, no luck. But then I remembered I bought these tickets with some kind of insurance policy. So
Yeah.
I called the insurance company. I looked up everything I needed to prove that I bought the tickets,
Right.
all that stuff, and I forwarded it over to the insurance guy, talked to the guy on the phone. His name was Joe, although he didn't sound like he was an American for some reason. He sounded like he was from India.
That sounds very racist.
Well, he said his name was Joe, so I don't know.
Okay, his name was probably Joe. You don't need to make microaggressions.
Okay.
We have lots of conversations about this. No stereotyping.
I'm just saying, he didn't
I'm-
sound like he
Joe's
was.
waiting for your apology.
I'm sorry, Joe. But hey, Joe, seriously, hook me up. You owe me that money from the insurance. I bought the insurance on these tickets. You owe me that money.
Yeah.
So they're going to review the case and see if they owe me the money or not, and then hopefully they'll pay me back the money.
That would be great. And, the nice thing is because I'm super professional with my business, I do have a contract documenting that I wouldn't be able to attend. And you did buy that other ticket for me. And so I hope that they will look kindly on that because this bride did have to reschedule because of COVID. And so it's like kind of unavoidable for a lot of us, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you had some good things, or were they good things that happened this week? Would you consider the breaks a good thing?
It is a good thing. I'm going to probably drive the car this week at work, and to work maybe I'm hoping drive it and not be all so embarrassed. When I pull into the yard at work, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, squeak, 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 squeak. Chris is here, so I'm leaving. Squeak, 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 squeak. Chris is leaving. It's so embarrassing. So but now I'm going to feel good because the car's super silent, and I'm sure I haven't driven the car far.
So it's stealth mode.
Yeah, well, I haven't taken the car on a road trip yet, like further than like the mile to the shop and back.
Right.
So I don't know how they're going to handle like on a freeway and things like that. I'm sure it'd be great though.
Yeah, maybe like try it around town a little bit so you can just get familiar with how the new brakes feel so that you don't kind of overdo it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Well, I'm glad that you had a good week, and I really do wish you luck when it comes to the iHeartRadio Music Festival. But one other exciting thing that we had this week is we had a great interview with some friends from the Podcast That Wouldn't Die podcast. What are you laughing about, Kris?
Because you forgot the name of the podcast, baby. It's a podcast that wouldn't die.
No, I was trying to think about the I Wish You Would Have Died podcast. And I was like, no, it's not called I Wish You Would Have Died podcast. But it's called the Podcast That Wouldn't Die. And why is that?
Because they do a podcast about horror movies That's
Where people die,
well, I think so. Yeah.
but their podcast won't die.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. And so we're going to be back with the podcast that wouldn't die podcast right after this.
Hey there, K2 crew. We love having you as our loyal listeners.
To keep up to date with what's happening behind the scenes, check us out on social media.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
And don't forget to follow our Facebook page.
Yeah, tag us in your favorite fun stories, and guess what? You might just end up on the show.
Ooh.
Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in that dinner rut? You know, like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? Well, with HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those lines at the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With 25 recipes to choose from each week, there's something for everyone to enjoy.
All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Some of those recipes are chicken and biscuit pot pie with carrots, celery, and fresh thyme, figgy balsamic pork cutlets with roasted green beans and rosemary potatoes, lemon cream chicken cutlets plus dilly potatoes and green beans, and taqueria pork bowls, which is a takeout favorite, with corn esquites, sour cream, and cilantro.
Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit.
And welcome back, everybody. Today we have not one, but two VIP guests. They are co-podcasters, and get this, a brother and sister dynamic duo. Welcome to the show, Keven and Erin from the Podcast That Wouldn't Die podcast.
Thank you very much. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sit down, everybody.
I know they've been building up the anticipation for this for weeks for you two to show up. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
We rolled out the red carpet.
Erin and Kevin, how was the plane ride over here, by the way?
We just teleported like in Star Trek.
That's right.
That's how you guys do it. So you guys are both podcasters. Fantastic. We're all podcasters here. How long have you guys been doing a podcast?
About a year and a half?
Yeah,
right?
we're on our 100 and something episode.
Like 105th, I think.
105th. And
Yep.
before that, we had a YouTube channel. I should say Kevin had a YouTube channel, the B Movie Club, and I would be a featured artist every now and then.
A featured artist.
Now, what was your art? Was it interpretive dance? Was it graffiti art? Was it
It was mostly
standing as a statue?
forcing Kevin to watch movies that he would never want to watch, and
really?
then we'd riff on it. I made him watch what was it?
It was Wings of Desire by Wings
Wings-
Wember.
Wim Wenders, Wings of
That's it.
Desire for the B Movie Club.
Oh my
And
goodness.
Italian horror movies. So
Are those like Italian horror movies? Are they like those Italian westerns?
Kind of.
Italian
I
Westerns?
wrote the same thing.
Or
About
maybe
as
they're called
much
spaghetti
blood.
westerns, maybe.
yeah,
Right.
spaghetti horrors. They call them giallo.
What?
So-
What are you guys telling me right now? Like, no, they don't do Western movies in Italy. But what are they?
That's the
In the
point.
60s.
It's like-
in the
Yeah.
60s they did.
Oh,
With Clint Eastwood. That's how he got famous. With
no.
was it The
Really?
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
called spaghetti westerns because they were Italian.
There you go. Yeah, and they ate spaghetti on lunch break, I heard too.
Now, you two said that you've recorded over 100 episodes, and recently Kris and I just finished recording our 100th episode. Did you do anything special to celebrate your
We
100th
absolutely
episode?
did not.
Oh,
Why not? What? That's a big one. You got to like go out with like a milestone, something big.
I know, you would think so. And maybe if we were closer together, but most of the time, I'm sorry, my mic just fell on the ground, so I'm trying to reattach it as I talk. But
High tech.
most
Such is
of the
the life.
time, Kevin's home with 3 kids, so we like record and then he has to jump off, or we just try to grab the time when we do it, so we don't have time to celebrate. Perhaps he can send me a gift. I do have an Amazon wish list.
Oh, what is on that wish list, by the way?
Oh, it's all artsy-fartsy stuff. When I'm not recording podcasts or having a full-time job, I'm also a photographer and an artist.
Ooh.
Really? What kind of camera do you have?
I have about 1 million.
I was just going to say, how many?
Polaroid collection.
Ooh.
Polaroids, huh?
Oh, yeah. Polaroids. I've got some Instax. I've got 35 millimeter. I've got medium format. I've got 4x5. I'm the queen of the estate sales.
Oh, that's amazing. And what do you love to photograph the most?
I like to photograph people and like street photography. Like,
Ooh, like you go into the city, get that urban feel of like the corners and like graffiti type stuff.
the urban part of Bakersfield.
Is there an urban part of it?
It's very urban.
It's all
Very
urban.
urban.
Is that where the
There
cattle
is those
guards
two
aren't at?
blocks. They're the two blocks where you can pretend that maybe you're in an actual city.
Wow.
No, but like in Iceland, I took my a medium format just to take pictures out there, because then I'll create it like a little zine or something and try to sell it on Etsy.
So wait, you just mentioned Iceland. Do you have a second house in Iceland, or why were you there?
Because I needed to get out of America after being locked up for COVID for so long.
Wait, you left during the middle of COVID?
Interesting. I slid in there right before they it was supposed to be the cleanest place with low instances, and I'm already vaccinated, but I actually got in there right before they raised their mask mandate. But I mean, you're outside all the time. It's all about you're by yourself. It's nature. So I figured if you had to go somewhere during COVID, out in nature would be the best place.
That or maybe Mars. I don't know.
Mars, yeah. Mars might be too hot. This was like the high, it was like 58.
Oh, that's glorious. I
was
love that.
glorious.
Some cool weather, especially living in Central California during the summer for you. Must have been a nice
Exactly.
reprieve. Now, Kevin, where are you joining us from in the world?
Beautiful downtown Irvine.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Good
fancy.
times.
Fancy
Let me
pants
tell
over
you.
there.
Is there a
Booming
downtown?
metropolis.
Oh, are you
I don't think so.
are you next to the what's the big Ferris wheel mall over there? What's it called?
Spectrum?
The
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
Are you close to that?
yeah.
I'm probably about 10 minutes. Not too bad.
Yeah, I drove by that last night, and my friend was like, I didn't know that there was a fair up here right now. And I was like, no, it's always there. She didn't
It's
believe
always
me.
a fair in Irvine.
Yes, it's always a fair and
Exactly.
full of fun.
It's a carnival.
Yeah, Spectrum's a fun place to go. We like to eat there every once in a while when we're driving through.
Yeah, we'll stop by
nice.
there. We'll see the Lamborghini and the valet and things like that.
That's me.
Oh, is that your Lamborghini?
See, I
thought
knew
was.
it.
Next time, wave.
Yes.
I did. You didn't see me.
And so, Kevin, what do you do for fun and for a living up in the big city of Irvine?
This is an excellent question. I am an 8th grade English and drama teacher.
Whoa.
Yepers. And for fun, this is what I do for fun. This is my hobby. I watch horrible science fiction and horror movies, and then I get to talk about it. So good times.
That's so fun. And now, first, I'm going to tackle the first part of that. As a middle school
Please.
teacher, I was a middle school principal for a number of years before I moved down here to San Diego. Do you love middle school?
You know what? Let me tell you this story. No. It sounds bad.
Anything that has to be prefaced.
Well, I was at an elementary school teacher for like 10 years. And then there were budget cuts that you might remember. And they actually fired like half of the elementary schools because of class size reduction. So they brought us back as 6th grade, which in Long Beach, which is where I teach,
It's middle school.
is middle school. So we had people who had been teaching kindergarten for 50 years now being forced to teach 6th grade. And people were having panic attacks.
I would too.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened to the sweet babies?
What
I don't
happened
know
to
if they're
Sweet
sweet at
Babies?
kindergarten. I don't know how sweet they are. I seen Kindergarten Cop. I know what's up.
That's an accurate portrayal. That's how we do it. But I'll tell you what, I love middle school. I dig it. I didn't think I would. They're great because they're just old enough that it's like they say, instead of learning to read, you're reading to learn.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
And they're this blend of a certain level of innocence and a certain level of sass, and it's like the perfect combination where they keep you on your toes and are just snarky enough, but they still want to like tell you the good things happening in their life, or want a shoulder to cry on when they got dumped by whatever jock that was at the school.
Right.
Middle school. So I worked at a number of different levels and at a number of different school sites. And I would tell you every day of the week, if anybody offered me another fantastic job to be a principal of a middle school, I might just go back there. I don't know. I'm working at the county level in administration right now, and I love it. But yeah, it takes heart and a special calling to work in the middle, because they are just all kinds of weird, and it just does my soul good to be around them.
Absolutely. No, it is dynamite. It is dynamite. I love it.
Awesome. And so how did you get into podcasting, Kevin?
How did I get into podcasts? This is interesting because my kids are all into TikTok and those sorts of things. I just love talking about movies. And it was a new technology at the time when I started doing the YouTube. It's been a while.
Really? Did you get in? Did you get in back in like the early 2000s?
It wasn't. Let me put it a different way. It was new to me.
Okay, that makes sense. 'Cause I thought I started YouTube early because my original YouTube channels, I did that thing back in like I think it was 2005.
But do you call it the YouTube?
Or maybe
because that will
2008. I don't know.
You call it the YouTube when you're on your way to the Walmart.
The YouTube.
It was, and actually the YouTube icon was a picture of a television set. That's how long back I go.
Yeah, you're an old man.
I was actually in it before Google bought it.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
You're like a pioneer.
I was.
So you're PG, pre-Google.
Yes. I got a T-shirt made and everything.
I started doing it, and because frankly, no one wants to talk about the movies that I want to talk about. So it seems like a good idea to kind of go on YouTube at that time and talk about it in kind of an interesting way.
And if I may interrupt, truth
Please
be
do.
told, you were a theater arts major, I believe, at San Diego State.
Ooh,
That is
San Diego State, local guy here.
Go Aztecs.
That's what I'm saying. Good times.
Fantastic.
So you mentioned like people don't like the movies that you're interested in. Would I be interested in them?
Probably not.
I think you
Probably
should
not.
tell me.
Are they on Hallmark Channel during Christmas time? Probably not.
Yeah, let me ask you. So does the plot line go like nothing bad happens, somebody stumbles into the arms of her mysterious long lost love,
And he's a prince.
They're married forever, and he's a prince and has a castle and whisks her away, and she never has to
Work
And they
wash a dish
never
again.
argue, and they
That's right.
never disagree, and
there's
it's always sunny.
and there's no real climax to it. It just makes you feel good
No,
the whole
the only,
time.
the only climax is that they have to buy that one special gift, and the store closes in 5 minutes. And that's
That's it. That's
Yes.
it. Well, she returns to her hometown, and there's that rugged scoundrel, and they don't get along at first. But through song and dance, they realize they're meant to be together. That's how we
Right.
do it.
the end.
That's right.
Is it that kind of movie? Because I'll totally listen to your podcast.
It's
No.
totally like that if there was also an axe-wielding maniac.
No.
Otherwise, it's exactly the same.
I think I've married one of those before in my past.
That's vicious, Kris. That's horrible.
It's a movie.
Okay. So I married an axe murderer?
There you go.
There you go.
Oh.
Hashtag boom.
I've
There you
never
go.
seen that movie.
That was huge in the 90s. I saw that many times.
Oh, well, so tell us what types of movies you enjoy, Kevin, and we'll figure out whether or not I like them.
Well, what we've determined is that movies I liked when I was a child are not always the movies I like as an adult.
Because
You know what I
they're
mean?
really god-awful, and you reflect back on your life thinking, what was wrong with me at the time that I love this movie?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of movies do that. You'll think like, does this movie hold up? And you watch it again, you're like, nope, sure doesn't.
You're like cringing. You're like, oh, I told everyone about this at the time. It was
Right.
the greatest movie ever. Oh.
So, what kind of movies, like, can you name off some ones that you particularly like that most people may not like?
Oh, this is
Like
good.
movies, general movies he likes, or movies that go with our podcast?
Let's start with normal movies first, and we'll weed into the podcast ones. So, normal movies you like, nobody else likes.
I think they go hand in hand. I feel that they're all normal movies. You know what I'm saying? One movie I always talk about is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Of course.
What?
Right. This is the one that does not have Michael Myers in it. So people are always confused when they watch it. They're like, when's Michael Myers appearing? When's Michael Myers appearing?
So
He's
it's like
not in this one.
So it's a big giant teaser for the next movie is what it is?
Well, okay, we're going to get into the weeds here. Originally, John Carpenter, who was the director of those first 2 movies, was like, well, I'll come back if we make it more of an anthology tale. You know what I mean? Where each movie, it's kind of a different story that deals with Halloween. The problem is that third one did so poorly at the box office that they immediately reversed course and brought back Michael Myers for the 4th and so on and so forth. So it's just this weird outlier that's right in the middle.
Hey, Kristine, what was your what did you take from that movie when you saw it?
I've never seen one of the Halloween movies. Okay, here's the truth comes out. I don't watch scary movies. I'm so sorry.
It's too bad.
It's true. It's true.
But you get the opportunity to change my mind here. So this is the pitch for Kristine to watch horror movies.
Well, first of all, Halloween 3, Kevin, sing the song.
Yeah.
Have a happy Halloween.
It's one of the...
Halloween.
That is going to haunt me. Okay.
Yeah, and it plays through the entire movie, so it just gets inside your brain. It's like a TV commercial to wear these crazy masks. Well, the masks basically are to melt the children or take over the world or some nonsense. But they keep looping this song. So like a week later, you're like, all of a sudden, have a happy Halloween.
It's a small world of the horror movie circuit.
Yeah, there you
100%.
go.
No question. Well, I mean, and it's so sad because the movie was so low budget, they just ripped off London Bridge is Falling Down for the tune.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
They're hiring composers for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think John Williams was busy that day. I think they do that film. So other than the Halloween movies, what other movies that are like horror related that you're really kind of into?
Well, what else? We also talk about science fiction movies.
Oh, good.
We don't discriminate. There was a movie that we discussed that Erin absolutely loves called The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh my God, that is the worst, Kevin. Oh my God, I hated that movie.
What's wrong with it, Erin?
Well, it starts off solid because it has Queen doing the score. So the opening credits are like, bang! You're like, yeah! And then the story begins. Oh my God, it is just so ridiculous and over the top.
Erin, that's actually Flash Gordon.
Oh, am I mixing it with Flash Gordon? I think I blacked out all of Buckaroo Banzai because at least Flash Gordon would be like a crazy, fantastic kind of RuPaul drag brunch. But Buckaroo Banzai, I can't even tell you. I think halfway through the movie, I stopped taking notes and started looking at Facebook.
Oh, wow.
So the
cardinal,
yeah, it washed over me, and then I needed to get the hand sanitizer. But but that's the cardinal sin for me. If I pick up my phone and look at Facebook, that means I'm bored.
I think it's for most people though too. So as far as sci-fi movies, are these older movies, or do you have any newer stuff in your mix?
We do
I
it all.
tried to get Kevin to mix it up a little bit more. Like we did Saint Maud recently. That was relatively current. We especially with Corona, now that they're streaming all the latest things from home, we're trying to incorporate that in now too.
Right.
We did the latest Conjuring movie.
The latest Conjuring. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's more of a horror movie, isn't it? More like a demon kind of movie, right?
We are more heavy horror. We say we're science fiction, but there are just not that many that are really good.
Oh, yeah, you know what? You know what they always say, though? If you are a new film director or a new filmmaker, that to try the horror genre, just because it's cheaper and easier to make, and they just... you would think some of these look pretty gross and pretty gruesome. Like chopping someone's head off and make it look pretty graphic. Like you would think that would take money, but I guess it's cheaper doing something like that than it is to do like a normal movie, I guess. Also, you can hire like the no-name actors. No one really cares. You're not going to see Schwarzenegger really I mean, you might, but, and something like that. But, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I mean, the thing with the horror movies is they have to either be really good or they have to be so ridiculous they're funny. As long as they don't make me ill, because I don't like slasher porn. That's not my thing.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
Or they just have to be ridiculous. Like Kevin's the master for all the old ridiculous horror. What was it? Basket Case about a guy with a unabsorbed conjoined twin.
Yep.
Simon, that he carries around in a basket.
Yep.
That the parents tried to detach and now it crawls around like New York City. Now that's ridiculous.
Of
That's
course,
so bizarre.
That is ridiculous. My goodness, that would never happen. Come on now.
Erin, you picked that one, by the way. That wasn't my choice.
You know, the worst of all of them I've seen.
I'm pretty sure it was like, do you want this one or do you want this one?
That's possible.
I'm going to mention a movie you probably have seen or at least heard of, and it's probably pretty gnarly. And I only watched it to like halfway point, then I turned it off. And that is the Human Caterpillar.
We keep threatening each other with that, but then we can't ever pull the trigger.
I'm
going to choose Human Caterpillar next time. If you make me watch Lethal Weapon, we're going to do Human Caterpillar when it's my turn. But then we can't ever pull the trigger. It just
No way.
Psychologically, it's just too much.
Okay,
That's a bridge too far.
but I have a very, very important question. So the two of you live several hours away from each other.
Yes.
And you talked about selecting these movies, and then you have a podcast about movies. But if you're not in the same place, do you like watch it and stream it together and have like a virtual distanced movie date
can do
night?
that? You can
or
is that a thing?
how do you do this?
No, we don't do that at all. In fact, we never speak except when it's time to do the podcast.
Oh, okay.
We literally record the first half hour is all our planning and discussion, and then we edit that out. No, he watches it in the middle of the night, and I try to watch it in the morning so I don't have bad dreams.
I mean, we each take notes, like our own separate notes, but then we just turn on the microphone and let her rip.
How do you guys? Are you guys do it through Zoom? I'm assuming.
No. Go ahead.
Zencaster.
Okay.
Oh, got it. So, Erin, you mentioned that you watch it in the morning so you don't have bad dreams. So that leads me to wonder, are you still like scared of scary movies?
So, well, here's the weirdest thing about us doing a horror podcast is that Kevin and I, when we were younger, were very fearful children. So I could just like see an ad for a horror movie, and my parents would always be like going out to a cocktail party or something, and I'd be like, "Please don't go, please, I'm too scared."
Yeah.
Ridiculous, you know. And then we lived in like some mid-century modern house. We grew up in Palm Springs. So, and then how do you fortify all those sliding glass doors in case the zombies come? I mean, I wouldn't go in the pool after I saw Jaws because I thought there'd be a shark in the swimming pool in Palm Springs.
I still do.
No question.
I don't know how it ever turned. I think it's like people who've gone through a traumatic experience and you have to be exposed, and then eventually it just doesn't have the impact anymore, or I've taken the power away. Who can say?
It's cathartic. But I want to add on to what you said. I remember walking around like video stores, like Blockbuster or the Warehouse. You want to go way back, and you'd see the boxes on the shelf. Just boxes would give me nightmares.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
yes.
Like the Friday 13th boxes and like all that stuff.
Absolutely.
I would just
Halloween.
avoid those whole aisles because same thing. And to this day, I can't watch previews for scary movies. I plug my ears and I close my eyes.
Let me tell you how extreme Kristine is here. You guys, we all live in Southern California for the most part. You know a little place called Disneyland?
I love
Absolutely.
me some Disneyland.
Don't rat me out, man. Put
Kristine,
me on blast
to
here.
this day, will never ever go on the Haunted Mansion.
I wanted to get married at the Haunted Mansion. That's the best thing in all of Disneyland.
No.
It really is. I just saw a documentary last night on Disney Plus about the Haunted Mansion.
Nope, not happening.
Oh, come on.
Nice.
It's so... it's,
never.
It's like
It's not scary. It's just
It's
a
not.
world of wonder.
That's what most people say.
It's not... It's really more like a fun... There's a little bit of scare to it, but it's mostly fun.
There's a little bit of scare. That's enough. A little bit to you
I
is
don't
like
think
a
there's
lot to
any
me.
scare there.
I don't even like the Roger Rabbit ride.
That's not scary
Oh,
at
no.
all.
That is
Likes
true
that.
terror.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I can
I've
handle
never been on Splash Mountain because that looks too scary to me.
Oh,
But
so
I will
easy.
literally just loop around and get right back on the Haunted Mansion because it's not scary. It's just fantastic to imagine how they put all that together with the dancing ghosts in the ballroom. And
but they're
that's-
real.
That was so amazing to watch that. And funny thing at Disneyland, have you ever noticed if you go on the ride lately? Well, they've been closed, but somebody actually took a pellet gun and shot the glass that separates, spoiler alert, kids, how they pull off the ghost room ballroom. They use something called Pepper's Ghost. It's an old effect where they have glass and they have
Right.
lighting and they kind of shine the light on the object and it makes it look like it's outside the window. Like if you're in a car and you see the light just right, sometimes it looks like you are outside the window, but you're really in the car.
Right.
That's exactly how they pull effect off. So somebody shot a pellet gun at the
Damn
glass
kid.
and made it shattered it. Those windows are like $5 million, something like that, to get them out.
What?
So they had to. So what they
You're
did?
overestimating.
No,
It's not 5 million,
It's like really expensive.
so, which means 5,000.
No, it's a lot of these whole rooms are massive, like a big warehouse full of glass. So, anyways, it has to be super clean and clear. So what they did was they put a little like fake spider web like over the crack area to kind of make it look like it's a spider web there. So, or something like that to pull it off so they didn't have to haul the window out because they couldn't really do
Well,
that.
I will never see it, so
Oh, come on,
I will
babe.
never go. But this girl is definitely
And
terrified.
the stretching room's so awesome.
No,
Oh, it's so cool,
Oh my
man.
yeah, it's
That's good.
the elevator. Oh my god! And then the
spoiler
lights
alert.
go out, and the guys up in the top,
And the
oh my
rafters
God.
hanging and the screechy sound.
thank you.
And
all
the
your Disney
voiceover?
nightmares.
Oh, and the voiceover is
no,
great.
No, I'm gonna walk out. You guys are scaring me.
Oh, this
not
room has
okay.
no windows
This was
and no
built in
doors.
this was made in like the 1950s.
Even
so
worse.
imagine 1950s horror.
It was like
you
the
guys
time
ever-
of The Exorcist.
No, it was not.
Oh,
Have you guys?
I remember The Exorcist was on TV and I was trying to watch it in the back room, and my mother was so traumatized when it first came out that she could not stand the fact that even the TV edit was on in the house and threatened to ground me if I didn't turn it off.
Oh, that's Kristine for you right there. She would have done the same thing.
Do you know what happened this weekend? So I was up with my parents, spending time with them, and I was talking with my mom about hanging out with different friends when I was growing up, and I finally confessed that I got to watch the movie It when I was like 12 years old.
You're talking about the TV version, though.
Right, the made-for-TV movie.
With the Walton boy in it.
Jack Tripper was in that one.
Yes. And who played the clown? It was
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. Yes.
Rocky Horror.
Oh, I don't know, but I just know that the neighbor had me over and like convinced me that my parents would say it was okay and played the movie for me. And I was petrified. Not to mention that I snuck off and I went to go see Wes Craven's New Nightmare with a group of girlfriends when I was in middle school. And my parents had no clue that they took us to the movies. I like scrounged around for quarters to be able to buy my movie ticket so they wouldn't know. I would not even walk out into the parking lot and stand next to the parked car because I was afraid that like my ankles were going to get slashed. Like this is how extreme
Right.
this is.
And she won't go on the Haunted Mansion.
The Haunted Mansion is 1% scary compared to a Newt Nightmare.
Yeah. It's more fun. It's like, it looks so cool.
It's
you
just
know?
fun and fanciful.
It's very, yeah.
It's people in Victorian garb, ballroom dancing, and mirrors stretch, but it's all cartoon
And the very
stuff.
end of the ride, it's all fun and fun games. It's all like a big party.
It's ghost games.
It's
you know,
the ghosts
skeleton
have a
games.
party and they start singing this chanty song. And
Oh, yes. They start chanting in the dark. Thank you, everybody.
They're not in the
Grim
dark.
gritting ghosts come out to socialize.
There you go. That's it. I love it.
I'm so glad.
If I had the
that
song, I'd play it, but I don't.
I'm so glad you're all rejoicing in my pain. Thank you.
You haven't been on
It's
the ride.
literally
Oh,
the best
oh,
part of Disneyland.
And the best part is when the ghost rides home with you.
Yes, when he's
Yeah.
sitting next to you. Oh, yeah. Good times.
He rides with you in the car at the very end.
My point exactly. I do not watch horror movies. I will not go through a haunted mansion.
Oh, but let me tell you though, I
That's good
can
advice.
never go on those really scary like walk through like haunted houses.
You did that one, the Walking Dead one at Universal
That was-
Studios.
I did
Yeah.
that as
It was.
well.
Those
Is
are
that
very
like a horror
upsetting.
movie, or is it like?
yeah, it's kind
They're
of
more
like
a
that.
TV
Upsetting.
show.
Yeah, it's more upsetting because they're going to come and get you.
Yeah, they chase you.
Versus I can turn my TV off.
He took.
Right, there's actually a person in makeup chasing you. That's different, I guess.
Yeah, they used to have a big one here, and literally a guy with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and a live chainsaw was chasing me. My ex-husband was gone. He like took off.
Oh, I would too.
I tried to get out, and I've now tripped and fallen. And I was like, what a freak out.
Not a live chainsaw, Erin.
They took it was a live chainsaw. They'd just taken the chain off of it.
Okay.
So the diesel was billowing out of it.
Yeah, they have those haunted houses here too in downtown, and I've only gone to one, and I will never go again. Let me tell you that much, because
it was upsetting.
It is very scary because these guys are running out, and they've got these really. If you think the haunted mansion literally is like a Disney, it's a kids ride versus
It's 1950s scary.
So let me put this in perspective. Those walkthrough experiences for you that are scary, that's what happens in my brain after I watch a scary movie. So how do you two manage
Sometimes it happens
this?
in my brain.
Yeah, so why do you do it? Why do you put yourself through it, Erin?
Well,
Is it just for the love of your brother?
Oh, no. Well, I would drag my cousin along because I do go see horror movies if it looks like it's going to be good. Because, I want to be scared but not traumatized.
Would that be like
if
the
Eli Roth is attached to it, we're going to pass on that.
Oh, you don't like his movie? You don't like that
the
cabin one he did, or what's it one? Was it Cabin Fever?
There's Cabin Fever. There's Hostel. The issue with these movies is they're more
I stayed
like
at
gruesome.
a youth hostel. Yeah,
we're not down for gruesome. You know what I mean?
Okay. What about like the Grunge? Was it Grudge or Cringe or Grudge? What was the one with
the Grudge.
The Grudge.
We do like the Japanese horror movies. They're very disturbing.
I only saw the American versions of that, not the original versions.
We watched, I think, the original Grudge.
Yes, we did. It was called Ju-on the Grudge.
Yes.
So
it was
are
still
those like
disturbing.
are they in subtitles? So like you have to pay extra attention to everything because you're having to read it while you're watching the gore?
I'm opposed to dub movies, so yeah.
Well, did you guys? What about the Ring movies? It was like how many
The Ring was so messed up. I didn't see the original, but I did love the first one. It was just so weird. The thing with the Japanese horror films is it's something new, and we don't know the rules. Like we know the rules of Friday the 13th, and we know the rules of like kind of like American horror movies or serial killers or all that. With the Japanese, it's a whole different story. So you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. And you don't know that the ghost is hidden on the VHS tape. Spoiler alert.
Uh-huh. Oh, the Ring was
7
great.
days.
When the horses were freaking out and jumping off the ferry. Every time I go to Seattle now, I'm looking around for, what was her name? Marma or...
Is that the girl in the well, right?
The girl in the...
or something.
Samira or
And she
something
climbs out of the television set?
Oh, yeah. With that spider crawl, with the long black hair. Ah!
Oh, yeah, that would freak you out. If you saw this little creepy girl,
Nope,
climb
don't even talk about her. No,
you never make it. You
Nope,
never
not
make
happening.
it.
So
I think the ghost movies are among the scariest because there's nothing you can do. There's no door you can lock.
like the one with like Demi Moore Ghost? I saw that one.
Yeah, exactly. Horrible, scary movie.
That was terrifying for other reasons.
You in danger, girl.
So there's this movie that I saw, and I never saw the ending of it, and I would love it. I don't know if it's considered a horror movie, but I'm going to tell you like what the basic premise of it is, and if I can remember pieces of it, but I'll have to like set it up for you. So I was on this flight cross country, and or maybe even not cross country. It was like to a couple other states or something like that. And I got into this movie, and it's starring Halle Berry, and she's like a phone operator. And I think there's like a serial killer.
Jennifer
and she's
8 or something.
No.
looking for like a little girl that's gone missing.
Ooh.
And she's like in the trunk of a car.
Oh, yeah, she's an operator that saves the day or something, right?
I don't know. So I
Kevin?
had like 10 minutes left of the movie. And they ended it because they did the overhead, like prepare for landing.
Oh.
To this day, that was like 7 years ago.
Hey, honey, I don't think that's not really a horror movie. I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh.
It's more
It's like a kidnapping movie, right?
But it was
Yeah.
horror. There was like serial killer and like scalps and stuff in the basement, and that's horrible.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Silence of the Lambs.
I don't know.
Oh, I do love Silence of the Lambs.
But she
and
was
then
like-
Hannibal series was amazing.
Have you ever seen? Hey, honey, ever seen any of the Hannibal stuff? Silence of the
You're
Lambs.
so funny.
The Hannibal
No.
part of the guy eats the guy's brains.
You're just trying to just come up with
Oh, no.
everything
Even
tonight.
the series, you can't even imagine that was on regular TV.
Was it bad? Was it as bad as the brain part?
It was fantastic, but it was graphic.
I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Fantastic.
Oh, she's
And
saying your word,
Gillian
Kris.
Anderson
Oh,
from the
thank you.
X-Files
Oh, she's
is
great.
in it. She's amazing in it.
Oh yeah, she was in the one in the Hannibal movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's in the Hannibal series, and then on a serial killer tangent, if you ever seen The Fall. But the
No.
guy from 50 Shades of Grey plays a serial
Oh, I
killer.
like that
and
movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
now you're talking the real horror movie.
He's a serial killer,
Red Room.
and he's Irish, so this takes place in Ireland. And while Gillian Anderson is investigating as an American, I'm not sure, but it all works.
The Halle Berry movie you're talking about is called The Call, by the way.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't
I've
know what
never heard
happened
of
at the
that.
end. Somebody tell me.
That I don't know.
The call. She
That we
answered the
cannot
call.
help. She answered the call,
The end.
and it was the wrong number. The end.
Can we watch that tonight, Kris?
But
Can we-
wrong number.
No, the call. I really want to see the end. I really do. It was scary. It was like as scary as I could get. Can we watch it tonight?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. It's date
Sure.
night tonight. So
yeah.
he said
Nice.
it's ladies' choice. So ladies' choice is a scary movie.
Why'd I say that? I don't know. So you guys started your podcast. You guys start your podcast right in the middle of the pandemic. You guys decided to launch a podcast.
No, we launched it. It was the September before. Or
Okay.
August before. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys aren't technically one of those like, hey, we're bored at home, let's start a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
No, but we definitely started recording more often during the pandemic.
Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
We used to before I went on vacation. We had like we were recording during the pandemic like 2 a week, and then we blazed through all our buffers. So now we're back.
So is that how you got up to 104 episodes already?
Well, we would record. We only release one a week, but we would like if we had extra time because of our crazy schedules, we would just knock out 2 or 3 in 1 week, like record it and then store it so that we could eventually release it.
Oh, okay. I heard people do
If that
that.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, but very, very important question. This one goes to you, Erin. So if you were a little bit more, I don't want to say sensitive, but affected by horror movies, does there come a certain point where it's like you're inoculated against any type of emotional response to it? If you've done over 100+ episodes, that's like 100+ horror movies, or do you now just like look under every car and around every corner and check every bathroom stall, afraid that, you know, an axe murderer is going to jump out?
Well, before this, I used to always listen to the podcast, My Favorite Murderer. So I was already deeply invested in serial killers.
See, I can't do that stuff.
Serial killer related things. I can do it as long as it doesn't involve children.
Okay.
You know, having children just ruins you for things like that.
Right.
So no, it doesn't bother me, but now that I've taken over like our Instagram account, and so now I'm staring at horror much more throughout the day. I try to push it all to the morning, so I have the rest of the day to refresh my brain. Perhaps I'll watch a little Jim Gaffigan before I fall asleep to put a different image in my head.
But
Fantastic.
Aaron, let's be honest. Most of the movies we watch are not particularly scary, truth be told.
Well, that's true, because we tend to watch more bad movies, but honestly, your subconscious does what it will. So
True.
you could watch a movie and then 3 weeks later it pops into your head because, I don't know, something happened throughout the day and now suddenly it's revisiting you, you know?
Right. Like you think of something that reminds you of something else.
Exactly. And
It
then all
happens
of a
to me all
sudden
the
you're like,
time.
oh, where'd you come from?
Right.
Like an unwanted sequel.
Hey, speaking of sequels, what did you think of the Scream series?
Oh my God.
We literally just recorded our review of Scream, the first one. The first one is dynamite. It
Yeah.
is great. And then it's a steep
Cheese
cliff.
fest. Mhm.
Well, it really falls off a cliff quick, let me tell you. I mean, they're actually releasing a 5th one next year.
They have made
Believe that.
5 of those things already?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's like the 25th anniversary, I think.
Well,
Is it the 20th or the
lost interest after
25th?
Well, I didn't see the second one or the third one. Who was the killer in the second one? Was it one of the kids or somebody else?
The second one, it was Timothy Oliphant.
Who?
It was he was in, okay, new characters. Basically, here's the dirty secret. Because the victims always survive, like Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox and David Arquette always survive, it's always going to be like some new random person that somehow appeared in their orbit. So in the second one, Timothy Oliphant, who you might know from Justified, or he was in Deadwood.
Oh, yeah,
Or
I know
The
that guy.
Office.
Yes.
He's a college student, because now they're in college, thankfully. That's just in a couple of their classes, kind of a wacky film student. He's revealed to be one of the killers. Then Jackie from Roseanne plays the long-lost mother of one of the characters who died in the last movie. So those are the two killers.
They try
Spoiler
to do
alert.
like a Jason, where it's the mother.
So why would the mother be involved in killing again if her kid got killed?
Oh, it's revenge.
Right. Her son was the killer in the first movie.
Oh, I got you now. Okay.
Like mother, like son.
Oh, I see. It's a
it.
family
There you
thing they do. I get it.
So in Scream 5 or 65, whichever one is getting ready to come out, is Nev Campbell still going to be in college? Because that would be a
And is she
storyline.
a grandmother in this one?
She's a grandmother now.
Seriously?
She's in her 40s, right? How old is she now?
I don't know.
And 50.
Is she really?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
she?
Wow.
And is she in number 5?
What else are they doing?
That's true.
It is
Good point.
true.
Good point.
It really could. Is Jamie Kennedy going to be back? Because he sucks.
Well, Jamie Kennedy was killed in the second one, but still made an appearance
spoiler
in the
alert.
third one.
Oh, he did?
Spoiler alert.
Exactly.
How did that happen?
I'm
Was
sorry,
it a ghost?
Jason's killed everyone. Michael Myers is killed in every one. And they just keep coming back.
How is that even possible? Like, how do they even
It's like
explain
a
that?
soap opera.
They don't explain it. Do they ever explain it in the movies? I don't
It's
think
like
they do.
Stefano from Days of Our Lives. He always came back.
It is
Okay.
absolutely like Stefano.
That's over my head. But okay.
Thank you, Kevin, for getting my 90s reference. I really
Speaking
feel
of-
validated.
Of course. Speaking of Days of Our Lives, I was in college, and we would go watch Days of Our Lives, like between classes in the dorm rooms. There was a season-long thing where there was like a ghost in the attic, and it was it was like Marlena's ghost was
Yes.
hiding or something. And then there was like, we're going to be at the bar that's literally upstairs from the police station. What? What are they doing? Do my good police work.
The bars are hanging. The cops are hanging out in the bar in the police
They're
station.
on duty. That
Well,
just seems like a
you
bad
know.
move.
So bizarre.
Well,
Anyway, good times, Days of Our Lives.
yeah. Well, why don't you guys start a new podcast about that? You know.
That's next.
What's up with that?
Well, what's up next for your podcast? Are you going to continue with the same horror movie dissection and razzing, or are you going to branch off into an additional genre?
There'll be no branching. There is an unlimited amount of horror movies. We're gonna record tomorrow if I get it together and watch Friday the 13th Part 6.
Ooh, that's my favorite.
Jason Lives.
Jason Lives. That's the
back.
only reason why I say it's my favorite. It's the only one I've seen. That's why. That's my favorite.
I have never seen it. I assume it's going to be terrible.
I don't remember much about it. I know it came out when I was a kid, and I saw posters for it everywhere. I'm like, oh, I want to see that, and it's coming out, and all that craziness. But
It's dynamite. You've got Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. You got Tony Goldwyn from Scandal. Young Tony Goldwyn,
of
who's
course.
also in Ghost. I might mention. So there you go.
So, very important question. If you're getting ready to record about Friday the 13th, Part 6, are you going to release it on this Friday the 13th?
what?
That is exactly the plan. That's why Erin
looked at
has
the
to
calendar?
get into gear.
I did. Chris is like, put your phone down. I'm like, I'm actually doing work right now. So I was wondering about that because that would be very interesting to see if anything eerie happens. If
Well,
you're
we try to
talking
do
about
we try to do Christmas ones, but it's always at the last minute. You're like, oh, by the way,
We
this
forget.
Friday, forget this Friday is Friday the 13th.
Well, since you guys didn't do anything big for your 100th episode, at least you can pull some off with this one.
There you go.
Yeah.
A little song and a little dance. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what would you love for our listeners to learn about you and your podcast? I know we've been talking about horror movies, but why should they be listening to you?
Well, really, I think what we are, because we're all about the spoilers, we're like a movie club, like a book club. So we're here. You go watch it. We're going to let you know in advance what we're going to watch. And then we're going to discuss it. We're going to mock it. We're going to tell you what works, what didn't work, behind the scenes. And we want you to contribute. Add your 2 cents. What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite person? We're really like a book club because we're going to tell you exactly what happens at the end. At least I will. Kevin always seems surprised when I discuss the ending.
Do you discuss it up front? Do you guys tell up front? You spoil it immediately, or you do spoiler alert?
I do a 30-second review. I tell you exactly what happens in the movie in 30 seconds, and then we kind of discuss our favorite parts, and then we got to go behind the scenes and things like that, and then we rate it.
Should be called spoiler alert. Frankly, if you're listening to it, you know we're going to spoil it. Sadly.
But if it's an older movie, it's been out since forever. I think you're free range to spoil it all you want.
That's how we feel, no question.
Right. We feel like if it just came on HBO, we're going to spoil that too. So be prepared. Hurry up and go watch it, because I'm going to tell you what happens at the end of The Conjuring 3.
Ooh. Are there any up-and-coming horror movies that you think everybody should be watching?
I just watched The Quiet Place 2 on the flight back, and that was actually pretty good.
I saw it too. It's actually almost a duplicate version of the first movie, and they replaced the lead character with another character.
Yeah.
But it's kind of very similar.
It is very similar, and John Krasinski is in it at the very beginning, because they never really explained how this all came about, so they gave you a quick little version of that.
Right.
Very
interesting. I still don't understand why you're having babies when aliens are coming around chomping people up left and right.
Especially if the babies cry.
I mean, I love my babies, but I would have to go put it in a cornfield and just kind of like, okay.
Game over, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even my teenage children, we'd be dead meat. I mean, I can't get them to, make their beds, for goodness sake.
Exactly.
I want to live on that island. That seemed pretty cool over there. They know nothing about nothing at the end of the movie. And they had that radio podcast studio at the very end of the movie.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. The podcast actually saves the day. You know about that?
That's right.
Because podcasts always save the day.
There you go, baby.
We're doing the Lord's work.
But the flaw, we're just going to discuss that movie. The flaw in this movie is the same with the zombies. A boat came adrift and brought the terror to the island.
Say what?
And that's the same thing, I think, in was it Zombie? Isn't that the same thing? But there's zombies on a boat, and so that's why you weren't safe in the water either.
It just takes one zombie in a boat. That's all it takes.
Hey, speaking of zombies, what are you guys' thoughts on The Walking Dead?
Okay, I burned out when they killed Glenn. I walked
man.
Alert.
If you haven't gotten to that part of The Walking Dead, you deserve to have it spoiled. At that point, it seemed too gratuitous. It was too upsetting to me, and I said, "Doherty out."
Well, that was kind of my favorite season, I think, when they went to that direction,
Right.
because it was whole twist on it where now it became like now Rick is not so much in charge anymore. He is working for somebody else, kind of deal. And it kind of twisted around, but now with Rick being gone, spoiler alert, and it being on their last season, spoiler alert again, that I think it comes out in a few weeks. They're coming
Spoiler
out.
alert.
I know.
Well, it's just the show kind of gets repetitive after a while, because it's like the zombies are not the bad guys. It's really the next group of humans they meet.
Right.
Right.
Rinse and repeat.
Right. People are
and
bad.
That's what bothers me the most. I don't like fantasy, fake horror, this kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But I can't watch war movies. And then when The Walking Dead really became more about man's inhumanity to other men, I can't handle that.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity. No,
So you guys never saw The Whisperers, huh? You never saw The Whisperers?
I saw The Whisperers.
Okay.
I hung around for that long.
Okay. Yeah, that was some pretty gnarly stuff. Do you see the Spike scene?
I think so. I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple years.
He's just quizzing you because he's trying to, rate your horror knowledge.
No question.
Yeah, he's trying to give you your certification.
It was very traumatic at the beginning watching Walking Dead because zombies were one of my triggers. That the out of control. I mean, I saw Zombie when I was in high school. It haunted me. It was so graphically disgusting and creepy and terrifying that zombies have always been one of my big fears. And watching The Walking Dead pretty much took care of that. As long as you have common sense and you take care of yourself, you can. It's the people, it's the thinking things that are the real problem.
Like I hate like those kind of stuff doesn't bother me too much. Ghosts and like zombies doesn't bother me. Doesn't scare me. It's like the people really scares me.
I was gonna say wives and women that are vengeful.
that too. That is true.
His worst fear.
Right. It's like the movies that really scare me. I think when it comes to horror, it's probably like the Purge movies,
or like the women that kill you in your sleep.
That too. Movies. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you guys seen the Purge stuff?
I haven't seen the Purge, Aaron.
I haven't seen the Purge, but they did one. Like I watch American Horror Story, and they did kind of a Purge season.
Okay, yeah. Well, its concept is people can do whatever they want, and people get crazy, and they kill everybody off. So
right. Like it's all. I don't know why, but I think it. I was thinking it was kind of like that movie, The Strangers. That was kind of upsetting, and I kept thinking maybe the Purge was along those lines, where it's just random acts of violence.
Well, kind of, yeah, for one night.
Yeah,
and it's survive or kill or be killed.
I'm like, why wouldn't you move? I remember I didn't see it. I'm like, why would you even be there? Why wouldn't you be in your, like,
well, in the
this
movie,
is all rich people being scared. I'd be like in a bunker. You had a year to prepare for this.
Yeah, well, they explain that in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Well, this has been so fun learning about your love of horror movies and your podcast. Where can our listeners find more out about you and your show and follow along on your journey?
Well, you can go anywhere the finer podcasts are available. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. We're on Twitter at TPodcast, We're on Facebook at The Podcast That Wouldn't Die. We're on Instagram, Aaron.
We are The Podcast That Wouldn't Die. There's a lot of underscores in that long, long name.
Well, that's so wonderful, and we really appreciate you all being on here and, bullying me into going to the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, which is still debatable, but
it brings me joy. It's not scary. It's joyful.
And Kris, before we go, you promise you're going to watch The Call with me?
I'll be on a call during the call.
Well, Keven and Erin, thank you so much for being here. And listeners, The Podcast That Wouldn't Die, check it out on your podcast player. Listen, subscribe, and give them a 5-star rating and show some support for our friends in the podcasting community.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
The Podbreed Network is strictly for the small podcasts that are up and coming in the vast world of podcasting. Podbreed is made up of many diverse podcasts, coming together to achieve the same goal of being the best damn podcast network on the planet. Find out more at podbreed.com.
Well, I loved interviewing Erin and Keven.
Oh, they were great.
I know, but, I'm still not sold on this, idea of watching horror movies and talking about them.
Well, there's a lot of podcasts that do that kind of stuff. It's a fun genre to have,
I actually,
it's all fun and games,
I actually walked into the house and I think that you were watching what I would consider a horror movie today.
Was it a Hallmark movie?
No. You said it was like the movie Alien or something?
Oh, that was Aliens. I was like, I haven't seen Aliens in forever.
Isn't that a horror movie?
Not really.
Don't they
it's
eat
sci-fi.
brains?
No, I do not. It's a sci-fi Jim Cameron movie.
Was that a who Cameron movie?
Jim Cameron.
Jim Cameron.
James Cameron.
Oh, James Cameron, Avatar.
Well, we call him Jim in the club, you know.
No, but isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie?
No, they think of Predator or Terminator and all that stuff. No,
I thought that he was in Aliens.
No, he was not.
What big name is in Aliens?
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, okay. And then who else?
The guy from Terminator that played the good guy in Terminator.
See, there was somebody from Terminator.
The first guy, Bean, I think his name was something.
Oh.
Bean. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, that guy.
Is it a horror movie though? Do they eat brains? Do
No,
they
don't
kill
eat
people?
Yeah.
So then it counts as a horror movie, right?
Well, yeah, but they're fighting aliens.
Well, I think that anything that doesn't come on the Hallmark Channel during the Christmas in July or the regular Christmas month is considered a horror movie in my book.
Okay.
Because I only like those. But so of the things that they listed, of the different movies that they listed, are there any that you're going to check out?
Probably not. I'm not a big horror movie fan really myself, Like I used to be a little bit just because it's like the shock and awe of it all, kind of thing. But I don't know. Like some of the horror stuff, like I used to watch Saw movies. I've seen the Saw movies.
That's gross. But you know what? You might not watch the horror movies, but you're obsessed with documentaries about serial killers on Netflix.
Sometimes.
Why?
Only
That's
the,
like
only
even
the
more
cool
disturbing.
ones. Only the cool ones, like the Ted Bundys.
What?
Yeah.
There's cool serial killers?
Oh yeah, Like serial killers, you think that like nobody would even guessed that was a serial killer. Like boom, he's a serial killer. Like no way, that guy did it. No way. He looks like the guy that would walk the neighbor across the street, like the old grandma across the street kind of guy, And that guy turns out to be the serial killer. No way.
That's so crazy. But you watch those all the time, and I've always wondered about you. Like, what's the fascination? Are you like plotting against me?
No, let's look for tips. That's all.
Well, I had so much fun interviewing Erin and Kevin, and we really appreciated having them on the show. And you can definitely check out all about them in the show notes. And do you have anything else to add, Kris, before we wrap this up?
Oh, well, you always can go to our website, which now Kris just improved the website.
Are we talking in third person now?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Our website is KrisandKristineShow.com. It doesn't matter how you spell it.
Well, but it's Kris and Kristine with K's, but if you misspell it, you'll still find us, right?
You can do Kris and Kristine with a CH.
No Kristine with a CH. It's always Kristine with a K. And
it's
always Kris with a K.
KrisandKristineShow.com.
Yes, and you can check us out, and definitely if you're listening to this on your Apple Podcast player, we would love it if you could leave us a review, not just those 5 stars, but also some words of encouragement to help us along on the journey. Kris likes to read those to himself as his bedtime story.
Actually, I screenshot them. I post them everywhere.
He does. He'll like screenshot them and text them to me like, babe, look at what we just got. It's like a 5-star review and look at the comments. But we do like the comments. We love that you just click the stars, but we would love it if you leave us a little snippet so that Kris can put it as his affirmations on the mirror to read every morning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sticking with us for this episode, and we will be back with you next week.